I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Wally, one half of the Undisputed Champion Show, and you are now tuned in to In or Out Sports Debate with my dog, Drew Willingham. Let's go!
LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over.
Take me back to 2008. Whenever you want. Just take me back to 2008, and I will be a happy Phillies fan. I'll be back on board, just like the dude from the Major League movie. I knew it all along. We're back on top. I knew it all along. We're averaging the same amount of runs that we're giving up per game. 4.7 runs that we're scoring, and then we're giving up 4.3. That's not really going to be conducive to winning games or making a good run in the playoffs if we make it past the wild card round. 9 sacks. 9. I'll give you 1 or 2. 9. Whose fault is that? That is not
That's
luck.
the offensive line.
9?
Well, not all 9 of them. Hey, I've been saying watch out for those ankles. Snap the ankle. Especially if you go back and watch the 50 episode special. There's a highlight of me in there talking about watch out for the ankles because in one play, he snapped both of the ankles. Not one play he snaps one and says, I'm going to go tough it out because I'm a tough son of a bitch and go back and go hardcore for my team. No, he snapped them both on the same play. Who else do you know snaps both ankles?
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for the In or Out Sports Debate with your hosts,
Wally, one half of the Undisputed Champion Show,
and Drew Willingham.
Hello, everyone. We are live with episode 82 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I'm your host, Drew Willingham, along with this week's special returning panelist. Probably the longest intro I've ever had for this show, but it was a great one. Some great takes from Wally's previous 2 solo editions here on this show. Now for the 4th time, welcome back, P. Alexander Wally, my man.
Both time guest.
Honored
Honored to be here. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm honored to have you here, my man. Technically right now, you are a 3-time Vault of Fame inductee returning, but you are here for the 4th time as we got a show in front of us. It's going to be great. How was your holidays? How was everything since you've been here 30 episodes ago?
Man, that was what? September, right?
Yeah, 5 months, almost half a year, man. Time flies.
It's been crazy, but all productive stuff. Just hectic because of the holidays and, adjusting to the new schedule this year. But likewise, just like you, just trying to stay busy, stay upbeat.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you're still with us and everything's been going great. And, you're not having fun unless you're moving forward. So that's what we've all been doing. And
yeah,
I can't believe we are 18 episodes away from hitting the century mark, my man. Like, we've gone through so many episodes. You were here at the beginning through the episode, I believe, 21. I think that was the first time you were here was episode 21.
Yeah.
And now to be at 51 episodes later, or 61 episodes later, my bad, my math, Colonial Heights math here. But yeah, 61 episodes, man. Wow. Since the first time you're here, it's been one hell of a ride. But guys, before we get started, just like Wally's privy to, we have to acknowledge the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
Man, you took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame, which you can find on the LegacyMaker Sports Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and as always, the small clips on TikTok and the latest in sports coverage at LegacyMakerSports.com. You can find the In or Out Sports Debate on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as the audio platforms on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm. You can download these episodes individually on iTunes. SIRTOBA Media, the video production brand behind the videos that you see here, is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the YouTube channel coming soon. And if you want to check myself out individually, Drew Willingham on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as the SIRTOBA.com for The Struggle Is Real to Be Awesome. Again, we are here for episode 82 on Monday, February 27th, 5 months to the day that P. Alexander Wally was last here for episode 52, 30 episodes in 5 months. Wow, that's like averaging 6 episodes a month, rocking and rolling out here in these streets. And we've got some great ones tonight, some wrestling, some football, some basketball, a little bit of everything, guys. So go ahead and buckle in, get your popcorn ready. Let's take this unit into round one.
Round one.
And here we go, Wally. For the first one, let's take this into some wrestling. For this one, Bianca Belair's overrated in WWE 2K23 with a rating of 95. How do you feel about this one? Do you agree with the statement in hand? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'll say in. I say in because I think they did her a disservice in 2K22 with the rating of 88, I believe, and going into the long, wait time of going from 2K20 to them reinstalling and rebooting, everything about the game in general. She was on a hell of a run at that point. So the disservice of an 88 really didn't match where she was, in my opinion. But I think this year, kind of as a little bit of redemption, they may have went a little too high. I think Becky is the highest rated female wrestler on the game at 96. Yep. And Bianca is right underneath her at 95, which I feel like is well deserved, but I myself maybe would have gone 92 or 93 if you want to go that route, just considering you still do have to take Charlotte into consideration, being that they're the best active females on the roster, along with Bianca and also Asuka. I say those four should be the only ones in the 90s right now, and maybe Bayley could be right at 90. But I think 95 might be a little too high.
So you're going with N?
Yeah. I think 95 is too high. I would have said maybe a 92, 93.
Yeah, I with this one, I wasn't sure if you're going to go in or out on this one, but I definitely agree with you on this one. I am in. And like you said, with the ratings, for the female ratings, you had Becky Lynch at top with 96. Bianca Belair was in second with 95, and Charlotte Flair was in third of the top 3 that were female wrestlers that were active, because Trish Stratus is like pretty much a legacy pick. So with that, you got Trish Stratus in 4. But to have her in second with 95, one ahead of Charlotte Flair, I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch. Because like you said, it was 88 of what your guess was. It was actually 87, which was in last year's 2K22. But you were close. I mean, but still, to go from an 87 to 95, you did some great stuff in the past year, Bianca Belair. Don't get me wrong. But to go up 8 points when people are barely struggling to get 1 and 2 points when they actually elevate themselves, like even Becky Lynch's rise over the games in WWE 2K23 and the ones leading up to it from like 16 on has been at a gradual pace. Bianca Belair was still in NXT at that point, 5-6 years ago or whatnot, when she was in the games at the beginning point, if she was even in the game 5-6 years ago. So
when you think about where the four horsewomen have come from, and Bianca Belair is not quite a part of that, she's done great things. Don't get me wrong, in her short time that she's been on the main roster. But at the same time, I just don't feel like going from an 87 to 95. I feel like that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's what I was saying. Based on who's on the active roster now for the women, I would definitely say top 3 with Becky and Charlotte. Maybe not over Charlotte just yet, just based on how much equity they have over what she's done in a short period of time. So you could justify the increase. You could justify it just based on the amount of progress that she's had over the course of not even really like 2 years yet. If you look at WrestleMania, what was that, 37 back in 2021 when she won the title. So she definitely carried a big part of the women's division when it came to her. And then, you know, you did have Sasha and Bayley doing their thing, and then Charlotte is Charlotte. So, and then, you know, Becky was out and came back. But I feel like those are the only 4 at the moment that should be, you know, over that 90. And like you said, Trish is kind of grandmothered. We'll say grandmothered. We won't say grandfather. Trish is grandmothered in. So that's justified as well. So
absolutely. Guys, what do you think here with round 1? Do you agree? Do you think Bianca Belair is overrated in WWE 2K23 with a rating of 95? Let us know what you think right here in the comments. So far, we've gone through the first round. Let's go ahead and see what we have in store for a promo that we have in tow for the Sports Senseis Unleashed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Sports Senseis Unleashed. Normally on Mondays, we had episode 11 earlier today, but the new time will be this Sunday, starting at 5:05 p.m. Eastern on Snowman Multimedia, starting this Sunday, again, March 5th at 5:05 p.m. We are back, though, for episode 82 of the In or Out Sports Debate. We've got a bunch of rounds still left in store. Let's go and see what we've got ready for round 2.
Round 2.
And here with round 2, the Philadelphia Phillies will need to make some more moves before the trade deadline in order to stay relevant within the NL East. How do you feel about this topic with one of your teams there, Wally? Do you agree with the statement on hand? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I got to be in. I got to say in because if you look back, let's go back to the projection because we didn't get to discuss that on air. But I projected 91 to 71 going into the playoffs. We actually ended up being 87 and 75. So I wasn't too far off of my projected record for the regular season. But if you go back to everything that we did in the World Series, I think we fell flat. And it came a lot with hitting. We got to improve there. We had a batting average of not even 10%, basically going 9 for 98 from I believe the 6th inning of game 3 all the way until game 7, which, you know, we ended up losing, but that's not really going to be enough. You can't have Alec, is it Baum? You can't have Baum and Schwarber basically being the only two. I think there was somebody else that was like batting like 230, but Schwarber was 250. And then, of course, Alec was right there, 286. So we need a lot more in between when they come up to bat. And if we don't reload that part of just the lineup in general to be able to get on base and then not only have power hitters coming in to drive those runners home, we're not going to really be successful this season.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of stuff in tow when you think about what this team has, gone through over the course of the past year, getting that last wild card spot and
Yeah.
then doing some damage and getting to the World Series, and they gotta give you your flowers. Okay. I told you I'd take it easy on you with the Eagles or whatnot, with this episode, but since the last time you were on here, your Eagles made it to the Super Bowl and your Phillies made it to the freaking World Series. So there's a lot of proud things to take
Right.
from this. I wasn't going to beat you up too much
Yes,
considering we are.
and no. We don't do moral victories. It's you either bringing a trophy or second place loser. We don't do that.
Yeah, but over time you have to at least appreciate where you got, because it could have been a lot worse. Your team still got bonuses for making it that far, making a few extra bucks in their pocket.
I ain't getting no
our
bonus.
NFC champions.
I ain't getting no bonus. I need bragging rights. That's all good and
You're
well.
an NFC champion, bro. You got something to be.
That doesn't say anything because there hasn't been a consecutive winner in the NFC East in almost 20 years.
Facts.
So what? I mean, now if this was the second, third, fourth season in a row, like we're running the NFC East, which I don't know how that's going to work now with the enemy coming over here to Washington, but we need more to go off of for the Phillies. I don't really think infield needs any improvements, but I feel like we could definitely use the power hitting. We need more hitting in general, but we definitely need power hitting.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of debate, though, on this one, I'm going to go out. As a fan of the Atlanta Braves, I don't want you to make moves. I would much rather you stay the same. And hopefully the moves that the Atlanta Braves made will keep it to where you can compete with not – I mean, of course we want competition, okay? And Cody Clemens, the son of Roger Clemens, the roided up Roger, okay?
Right.
He's on your team now. He's going to be a utility player, like a bench player.
No
I hope you don't trade him. I mean, for your sake, if you trade him to anywhere, let him come to Atlanta because I like the kid. So, but that's going to be somebody that I think that came to you from the Detroit Tigers that is going to be pretty big and a pretty big help off the bench, especially you can put him anywhere. He could play first, second, short, third, left field, catcher. He even pitched a game last year for Detroit. I just found that out earlier today with the research I was doing on this kid.
Yeah.
But Cody Clemens, the youngest of Roger Clemens' kids, 26 years old, was born in 96, didn't really get to see much of his dad's tenure. I'm glad he didn't get to see the needles part or whatever it was that he was doing, the cream or whatever, to get himself ready to rock and roll. Yeah. Because for Cody Clemens, in this picture that we have, over here, that he's the third one, right there beside Kyle Schwarber to the right. You definitely do not want him taking the roids. Plus, looking at him, he don't look like he takes roids anyway. So
not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, says Wally. Yeah, Wally says not yet. So, but guys, if Cody doesn't do the roids, okay, and it keeps growing, I mean, he's at least in the show at 26. He got there a little bit younger too. He still has plenty of time to evolve, and he could be one of the hidden gems that you got on this team. I think some of the moves the Phillies made already, it's kind of like when we were talking about Howie Roseman for the Eagles the last time you were here for episode 52. Yep. And, with him making the moves, do we think that it made the team more relevant? I said yes. You said no. I was right about that one, but at least your team did get to the dance. But besides that, when you put all that into the equation, when you think about the Phillies now, do they need another good pitcher or so? Yeah, they need another good starter. Every team needs another good starter. Does everybody need another great utility player? Of course. But this one and Cody Clemens, I feel like, is going to be a spark off the bench to where you might get some hidden starts out of them to where that momentum carries into the playoffs again for you.
That's what I'm about to say. I was going to say, if anything, I feel like having him won't really show itself until like that last playoff like push towards the end of the season, like August, somewhere, maybe July, August. That's when it's really going to come into play, just to see how much he's progressed from now, since we brought him in up until that part of the season where it's going to be pivotal for everybody. It's just going to be scrambling to get as many wins as possible. If he's going to be, that utility knife that just comes out, it's going to have to be solidified by August. And I was right about Howie Roseman because those main acquisitions that he made didn't come in the offseason. They came during the season when we picked up Sue and we traded for King Dunlap. And so Howie did a lot more during the season after the last time I was here. So that's why I was not impressed. But he did so in week 6 and 7 and 8. So I was kind of right when I said that.
Yeah, it's 50-50. I mean, I'll give you that. I'll give you, you were like halfway in there. You know,
it's your show. That's fair.
Hey, there is footage out there if you guys want to go check out episode 21 and episode 52. At least those two. We didn't talk about the teams much on the trios episode. We did a lot more wrestling on that one when Corey was here. But guys, we've gone through 2 rounds so far. We got some breaking news to share with you before we go to the next round. And that breaking news is this. This Wednesday, Rob Johnson comes on back for the record-tying first place. Wednesday, March 1st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Rob Johnson is here for episode 83, as we've got a bunch in store for you, especially some XFL action that we have. And now that we've gone through the breaking news, let's go ahead and take it into round 3 and see what we got in store for that one.
Round 3.
And here with round 3, someone who's always been pretty chatty within the media here. We've got becoming the NBA's all-time scoring leader does not make LeBron James the GOAT. How do you feel about this one, Wally? Do you agree with the statement in hand? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm in on that. Yeah, I don't think so, because he's done well with taking care of himself throughout the duration of his career. I mean, 20 years. You should be accomplishing the greatest feats in whatever sport you're in if you can manage to take care of yourself and be productive for that long. I do think that he is probably he has been the greatest player as far as just that goes, but not the scoring title, not for GOAT talk, in my opinion. That's not a notch on the belt for GOAT talk. I feel like if you've been in the league for 20 years, you got to have something to show for it, and it just so happens that it is points. And I think he's top 5 in assists now, I believe. So he's doing well with that, but I think the championships or the level of competition mixed with his stats each season goes more into what you would consider GOAT talk, opposed to just the scoring title or the scoring record. I mean,
yeah. With you saying that it does not make him the greatest of all time, I cannot argue this one at all. I am definitely in on this one. Yeah, you've got all these great titles there, LeBron. You've gotten 4 titles that you had to get with super teams. You've got the greatest scoring title of all time, which you play in a more pussified era of basketball now. So congratulations for playing in a very pussified era of basketball, to where basically they touch you with a pinky and you're flopping all over the place and getting fouls. And kudos for the referees for the other night, that even though I'm sorry that your ankle popped or whatever happened, you are getting old, so things are going to pop. When you're moving around out there, you're 38, dude. You're 30, mother, father, and 8. Okay. Yeah. But when you drive to the hoop, you freaking travel every single time with like 6 to 8 steps. And they actually called it on you that night. They called it on you last night. It was the play where you fell down on the ground, but yeah, they still called it on you for traveling. Kudos to the NBA referees for actually calling a travel on the greatest of all time. You are not the greatest of all time, LeBron James. LeBust, Lebust. If you played in the era that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, everyone to call him Kareem. This he prefers to be called by, but either one, the minute when he came first out at Lou Alcindor or when he was playing as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was still the same player and still got the scoring title at a later age after going to college for 4 years. Nobody wants to say that. Give the man his flowers. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went to school for 4 years, then played for all those years and got the scoring title. LeBron James has been in the league since he was 18. He's got a 4-year advantage on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and has played in a more scoring-friendly NBA league since he's been in the league, because he can't even touch anybody anymore. So if he played when he was playing if he played during the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar era, the Showtime Lakers, or during Chicago Bulls era with Michael Jordan, those 6 titles, he would not be this far along in 20 years and would not have the longevity because they didn't have like all these sleeping chambers for him to sleep in back in that time frame that could be afforded, because in LeBron's era of basketball, it's been paid forward from what Jordan and Kareem and all them did, are making the money for it in the reparations for what everybody else made back in the day. You cannot tell me that anybody else, I mean, we're on the same page with this, but I'm just debating my statement with this to that people who are watching who are bronze sexuals or who are like, oh, you're so wrong, he's the greatest of all time, he's my king. No, he's not your king. Well, he might be your king, but in legitimacy and people with a brain out here in these streets, he's not the king and not the greatest of all time.
But to still play devil's advocate with it, though, I will say that when you compare him to Jordan, LeBron is much more talented, but Michael Jordan is the most intimidating player because he mentally mastered that part of the game. That's why he was so effective against so many different teams. He struggled with the bad boys. Everybody struggled with the bad boys. Let me say that part. But if you look at the teams that Jordan played in the finals, you got Seattle, you got Utah twice, you got Phoenix with Barkley, and then who am I missing? The Lakers when they won the first one. I'm sorry. But still, I just don't, with the exception of, and those Lakers were over the hill when that happened. So rightfully so, they should have beat that team. But out of the other 5 championships, I would say that Phoenix team was probably the best team that they played. But look at the teams that LeBron beat for those 4 championships, or maybe even the first 3. Let's not count the bubble one. The bubble one counts as a championship, but considering the 3 teams, he beat the Spurs twice, and then who did he beat? They beat Golden State when he went back to Cleveland. Those
have 1 out of 4 times he beat Golden State.
No. It doesn't matter though. You can't say that because Jerry West is the NBA logo. He went to the finals 8 times. He only has 1 championship. So let's not do that.
Yeah, he's better than Jerry West, but he's not better than Jordan. Jordan's 6-0.
What I'm saying is the
LeBron's
level of
4-6.
Okay, but what I'm saying is you take those 3, even the 4 teams. You take those 4 teams. I don't know. You take those 4 teams that LeBron beat in the finals. They will beat any of those 5 teams that Jordan beat. Post this clip on your page and let's talk about this later.
Maybe. I will clip that up. I will clip this one out too.
Trust me. Look at the stats of all the teams that LeBron played. He beat 2 Popovich Spurs teams. Those teams alone would have beat any of those 5 that Jordan beat. Period. I don't care.
I'm gonna clip this one out too. But LeBron also had to make super teams with those 4 teams because of what he had to do with the big 3 in Miami, who won 2 out of 4, lost the first one and the 4th one. And they're supposed to win 7 or whatever it was they said in that promo. Then you go to Cleveland and you win 1 out of 4. You won that second go around with Cleveland. And then you come to the Lakers and have to get a bubble championship where everybody had 4 months to rest who were injured during that time.
That's just like when the NBA had the lockout season when they only had 50 games and the Spurs won. That still counted, right?
It wasn't a bubble.
It doesn't matter. It was a shortened season for reasons that had nothing to do with basketball.
Still got to travel, still got to be free. It's like prison basketball what they had in the bubble.
Put it this way. It's
like the longest yard.
Put it this way.
The longest free throw.
There's no way you could tell me that anybody that has played against LeBron didn't have some kind of help. Look at that Golden State team. There's 5 Hall of Famers on that team that beat him 3 times.
Yeah.
No. It's 5 Hall of Famers on that team. Steph, Clay, Draymond, Iguodala. I don't know how he's going to get in, but he's going to get in. and you had KD for two of those losses. Are we going to talk about super teams because he won it with super teams?
Oh yeah, he definitely gets called out for being on a super team. Absolutely.
Everybody's talking about Boston.
Absolutely. Since Boston started doing it, in the late 2000s, there have been super teams for literally the past 15 years.
I'm just saying, and I'm not taking anything away from the Lakers because I'm a Kobe fan. I love Kobe, but they had on that dynasty and on the back-to-back, they had the same situation happen. They have look at all the Hall of Famers that Kobe had on that first dynasty and those next two championships. Look at the Hall of Famers on that team. Nobody's talking about that, but everybody talks about the LeBron thing so much, and it's kind of corny to me. And I'm not even a LeBron fan that much. I just think that it's very lame that people throw that out there because they don't want him to be considered one of the best to ever play the game.
I still put him in the top 10. I'll put him in the top 10 for things he's done. No.
You're saying Bron is top 10.
Yeah.
But there's no way he could be top 5?
Not yet. He maybe by the time he retires, but not yet. He needs another championship, in my opinion, because of the way things have fell out. You want to put him ahead of Jordan, Kareem, Magic. Hell, Tim Duncan led the Spurs between the 5. So I mean, he's up there too. You got Patrick Ewing, you got Charles Barkley. We can't really put them in there because they're not NBA champions.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Bill Russell, all these different players. Moses Malone, you're one that we talked about one of the last ones you were in. I could keep naming names. Larry Bird. You want to put LeBron over all them who've won 4 and 5 championships, won more championships with one team without having to move around and make super teams back in a harder era of basketball. You want me to put LeBron James over them? No, I'm being nice and gracious enough by putting him in the top 10. I didn't say Larry.
You got Larry Bird in your top 10?
Yeah. Why not? What's wrong with Larry Bird?
Nothing. There's way too many more people that you could put ahead of him in the top 10. He survived the top 50, the 50 best players. I will give you that. But
you don't even have him in the top 20?
Larry Bird?
No. I mean, yes.
I don't smoke or drink, Drew, but no.
It doesn't matter if you did. I'm just asking a general question.
No.
But you should.
No. There's no way. There's no way. Even if you break it up by position, he's not even top 5 in his position as a small forward. I'm a basketball player. You don't want to do this.
We're gonna have to say this for another day because we were talking about LeBron right now. We get into Larry Bird, and you don't even want to put him in the top 20 or top 25.
No chance in hell. Vince McMahon voice.
Wow. Wally just came up here pretty much and said,
You're fired.
Right on cue.
Damn. Well, guys, we've gone through 3 great rounds. I guess I schooled in that one, even though the funny thing is we both agree with the statement.
I know. It's the digression. It was the digression that messed up everything. We're good.
It's all good. Before we head to the next round, let's go ahead and take a look at a quick commercial real quick.
This episode of the In or Out Sports Debate is brought to you by Peanut Butter and Jealous. When you're feeling a little blue based on what others are doing around you, spread a little peanut butter and jealous on your sandwich to make yourself feel whole again.
There you go, guys. Pick yourself up a little bit of peanut butter and jealous. You can share it with a friend up top. You could eat it by yourself, like the guy in the picture below right there. Wally and I approve. Peanut butter and jealous. Go find yourself that jar and get yourself whole again. Guys, going through 3 great rounds of this show. We got to acknowledge the comments from the fans at this point of the show. Let's go ahead and see what you guys have to tell us throughout the first few rounds so far. Media Mayhem time. Comments from the fans. Let's go ahead and see what we've got from you guys. Our friend Ike Doesn't Give a Fuck is back. Says, what's up, fellas? He is here with his great name in tow. Doesn't give a fuck in the house. Wallace is back, says Stephen Fanton. Fanton says Wallace is back. My man D. Willie says Wilfredo Otero. Well, Waz El Jefe, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you for stopping in there, brother. Hi, Drew. Hi, Alexander. Wally, he says. Well, Mickey, thank you for typing fast, being here, and being ready to rock and roll with us and saying what's up to me and Mr. Wally here. Hi, Wilfredo Otero. How are you, says Mickey. I am well, Mickey. How are you doing this evening? Oh, crap. I need to skip these parts. He says, I am okay. Wow. Well, then his name isn't Wallace, Steven, says Ike. They went back and forth on it. He says, oh, yes, it is, Ike. It's Wally, bruh. Sure it is, Ike. I feel like we've been here before. Phillies won't go 500 this year. Sorry, guys, says doesn't give a fuck. Phillies win it all this year, says Steven. So Steven goes from calling you out on the name to saying the Phillies will win it this year. He's going back, and Bron is the GOAT. Well, at this point, we've gone through so many comments, and for you to say that he is the GOAT, I got to say this.
Hell to the no, no. Hell no, to the no.
What?
I was waiting for that.
It was coming. Steven, what are you doing?
I've been waiting for that the whole show. I knew it was coming.
And for this comment in particular, I know Steven's probably waiting for this.
Stay off the weed.
Because when I think about your comments out here, Steven, you're not being nice. And that's why Chris Jericho comes out here to say
Would
this.
you please shut the hell up?
And even Michigan State's crowd is agreeing with us tenfold right now. To the point that the Wonder Bread Choir is laughing their mother, father, and arse off. Shout out to Snowman in the Morning for the claimed name of the Wonder Bread Choir. I did not claim that one. Cannot take full credit for that one. Hit 13-pointer or hit 1 3-pointer in his career. I guess he was talking about for someone that we were talking about earlier. It was not Larry Bird, Wise. I know there's no way it was Larry Bird. He said way more than that. Tell us who you think you were talking about. Bronze Sexuals with the laughing emojis says doesn't give a fuck, as he agrees with that. And at some point, we got to expect Bron in the next 2 years to have a conference like this.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
He's pushing it up there in age, bro. He is pushing it up there in age.
I think what you said, the scoring record, I think he's going to end up pushing it to at least 44.
Yeah, he could.
44,000, not age 44.
I
think
that's 6 more thousand points, though, isn't it? No, 6 more thousand.
Yeah, but you think the rest of this season, I'm gonna say at least until April, if they don't make the playoffs, which I don't care if they do or not, because I hate the Lakers, but I hate Boston more. But if you give him a productive season of having 3 or 4 more years of at least 1,800 points each season, at the end of this one, it's probably gonna put him right there, past 43, maybe as high as 44,000. I'll give him that much. It just depends on how much longer he's going to play. I think at least 3 more years though, because he's trying to wait for Bronny to get there.
Absolutely, he is, and especially with this collective bargaining agreement, it doesn't really affect Bronny because it wouldn't go in effect till next year. But they're trying to with the collective bargaining agreement. They're talking about potentially doing away with the one and done. So when his son Bryce comes up, in his 18, he won't have to at least go to do the one and done. He's the one who's got more talent than Bronny anyway. I feel like it would do Bronny more good to actually go play a year at Ohio State or wherever he decides to play, because he did have a lot better of the year in his senior year this year, but nowhere anywhere close to what LeBron James, his dad, was doing back 20 years ago.
The plan is pretty clear as far as that goes. I'm gonna tell you this now, and you can tell me if I'm wrong when this happens next year. Kyrie goes to the Lakers. They get a push, potentially maybe win it if they get some new additions to go along with that. And then Lakers will get Bronny in that late first round, second round pick to where it won't matter. It won't affect him whether he's going to a lottery team or not, because he'll be going wherever Bron is. That's basically how that's going to go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, I feel like LeBron James' DNA is going to be all over how this bargaining agreement changes. He is going to be definitely a big factor. Isaac Madison's in the house, says Yankees. Definitely the Yankees. Neither one of us are fans of the Yankees here. He's a Phillies fan. I'm a Braves fan. He's lucky to have a Phillies logo on this background with me being an Atlanta Braves fan. It goes to show how good of a sport I am. But no, and even though I've had Yankees up here,
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we would not talk about Yankees on this show unless they happen to have a matchup against each other during a time frame that we're talking about topics.
Exactly.
One of the biggest trolls on the earth, Rod Uncensored. Rod Isaac is here saying LeBron James is greater than Michael Jordan. Stop the cap. Rod.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Absolutely. Because I need you to handle the truth, because right now
You can't handle the truth.
You got to be a basketball historian to be able to have that conversation anyway.
Yeah, because when Rod jumps in here with comments like that, it's like Sam Kinison jumping in your face doing this.
Or it's like a 5-year-old kid screaming "6-bird." Like,
yes.
What do you don't know any, like, I'm just saying, there's people that I know, I'm 35. There's people I know younger than me that are Cowboys fans, and they weren't even born when that last championship happened. So I don't know. I feel like you got to be a historian to have those GOAT conversations, to have at least witnessed something different to know what you're comparing. So I don't know.
And Rod, when it comes to your opinion of LeBron James being greater than Michael Jordan, Primetime said the best.
Ain't nobody care. Who cares? Ain't nobody care.
You don't care about your opinion, bro, and neither do we when it comes to LeBron James being greater than Michael Jordan. Stop with that. Stop with that, Rod Isaac. Other than that, Yankees to win finals. No, sir. He's an Oklahoma City fan. I'm sorry for you, since Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and James Harden especially all left. That was the last time OKC has really been that relevant. My brother Trey Man plays for them. Well, that's cool, man. That's cool that if your brother plays for OKC, hopefully, well wishes. Hopefully they can get better. But I'm just saying, like, they really haven't been that relevant since that time frame of when those three were on that team. They've had some flashes in the pan when Chris Paul was there for a cup of tea.
Other than that, Orlando either.
Yeah. So Bronny going to Orlando, in my opinion, I don't think so. There's been some talk about it, but
LeBron's not going to Orlando, so you can hang him up.
LeBron don't want to go to Orlando, and he even said, there's an article I read earlier about that said that LeBron's come out and said that he'd be more likely to play him as an opponent for that year, which he'd only get a few matchups against him. He doesn't want that to happen.
He said he wants to play with Bronny on the same team.
Yeah, but he said if he goes to the Magic, he'll play against him. He ain't going to the Magic.
He's not going, man.
He's not going to the Magic, though, is what you and I are both saying, though. It's not happening. So, but no. And Rod, you're actually right about this. 08 Celtics were the first super team. And then the Lakers followed suit after that with what those two that they got, because they were pretty much a super team. And after that was the Heat. Then you have the Golden State Warriors and the Cavaliers who were trying to compete with them and only got 1 out of 4. So, yes, Rod, definitely.
There's been super teams since the 80s. What the hell is everybody talking about, man?
It's not a super team.
Look at the Showtime Lakers per position.
Yeah, but even when you play them on 2K, they're not like as bigly skilled players as like today.
At that time, those are super teams at that time. It just wasn't all this hype in media and everything that people get mad about because they're getting paid so much. It's been super teams since the 80s.
Yeah, but they've gotten out of mother, father, and control since the new millennium.
That's because everybody want to be friends. Everybody got time for that.
We got Banana Boat Cruise and all sorts of other wild stuff going on out here in these streets. Guys, thank you for the comments so far. We'll acknowledge the rest of them at the end of the show for the mayhem culmination. But so far, we got 2 rounds left to go. We've got the By the Number segment. Let's go ahead and take it into round 4 and see what we have in store for the By the Number segment.
Round 4.
Here with round 4. John Stallworth is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 82 in all of sports history. How do you feel about this one, Wally, with the statement at hand? Do you agree with this? Do you think John Stallworth's the greatest to ever wear 82?
I hate that I have to disagree with this.
He disagrees. He's out.
I have nothing to say about this other than no offense to John Stallworth, but I hate Pittsburgh. But number 82, I would naturally think Jason Witten first. And I hate saying that because he plays for the he played for the Jason Witten. Go ahead.
Wow. You couldn't even talk. So you see, let me get this straight before I even think about giving my take on this, because you are going against John Stallworth and you're going to give it to a man who did not win a championship whatsoever in Jason Witten.
All right. I want to put this championship thing to bed, and we're going to use football as an example. So right now, Drew, put me back. Let's do the split screen because I want to see you when I ask this question. Just like Stephen A says, put me, or Stephen C, as me and the homies call him, for different reasons I shall not share. You mean to tell me right now, if I gave you these 2 options and door number 1 was Emmitt Smith and door number 2 was Barry Sanders, are you going to take Emmitt Smith, or is Emmitt Smith better because he has championships? Are you really going to say that?
Well, they both were different numbers.
It doesn't matter. Is that what you're going to say?
I mean, when it comes to this topic, as we're debating on the greatest ever with the number.
Championships? No, no. It shouldn't even matter. It shouldn't even matter.
So what is your criteria on thinking that they're the best to ever wear?
I'm thinking
I
would say the physicality of football has not changed.
What?
As far as the impact of the rules have changed, the intensity of the players has not. That has not changed. So I feel like Stallworth played in an era where it was smash mouth football, but you have now in today's game, you have more athletic players that are a lot more skillful per position. I feel like Witten was a lot more durable. He also had a lot more that he could do as a player than Stallworth. That's just me. But you give Stallworth the championship, and that means that there's plenty of bums on a 53-man roster that got a championship. Does that make him better than the next dude on the other team that wore the same number that doesn't have one? That was a starter.
But he's a 4-time NFL Super Bowl champion.
Look at the Lakers lineup. Devin George has 3 rings. Mark Madsen has 2 rings. Tyronn Lue, who was a pest at best, I believe he has 2 rings. Look at those people that came off the bench for the Spurs. They got 2 or 3. There's a number 3 that played on one of those championship teams about 10 years ago that ain't nowhere near close to Allen Iverson or D Wade wearing that same number. Championships don't matter when you look at overall ability, man. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to disagree a bit. I'll keep you up on this screen because you wanted to keep me up here and torture me through all that. You know, Jason Witten, you think about how he played in an era of football that's been more pussified ever since Tom Brady came out here into the game of football. Tom Brady is the equivalent to the game of football, as LeBron James is the equivalent to the NBA, has made the game more pussified than it was before he entered it, okay? So when you think about the fact that John Stallworth played 2 less years and only had like 11 less touchdowns, or no, he played 3 less seasons, my apologies. He played 3 less seasons than Jason Witten and had 11 less touchdowns. In an era of football that was very hard-nosed, ground-and-pound football, that it was tough. And you played with a quarterback, Terry Bradshaw, who got into the NFL Hall of Fame based on his personality and the fact that he was on a team where the defense got him those 4 Super Bowls, okay? He made right decisions in the he made good moments in the right. He made the right decisions in the right moments and didn't turn the ball over at times where they really needed to get over the hump and get that Super Bowl on those 4 occasions. But it was the defense that carried that team through those first 4 Super Bowls, okay? And you have John Stallworth, who was probably the greatest player on offense, who was helping making Terry Bradshaw look good. You take John Stallworth's numbers away, there is no Terry Bradshaw in the Hall of Fame. So, yes, you want to talk about Jason Witten.
Who was Jason Witten's quarterback?
How many quarterbacks did he have?
Exactly.
Did he have Drew Bledsoe? Drew Bledsoe, who was a great quarterback before Tom Brady knocked him out, or he got knocked out and Tom Brady took over. You had Tony Romo, who wasn't a bad quarterback either. And then you had Dak Prescott. You had 3 quarterbacks that were above average. It wasn't like Jason Witten.
Terry Bradshaw has had a better career than all 3 of those people that you just named that was Witten's quarterbacks.
Yeah, because he got 4 Super Bowls. Because he had defenses to help him get over the hump.
But what I'm saying is, you just said, oh, Stallworth he had Terry Bradshaw. Who did Witten have? And look at Witten's numbers, having a lesser quarterback.
Well, he also left and went and played with the Raiders for like a year, didn't he?
That was political just to get money. That wasn't. That's what that was.
Stallworth stayed with the same team, got 4 Super Bowls, and has 4 rings to prove that he is the greater receiver in a harder era of football. I mean, the fans in the comments, let us know what you think about it. I disagree with Wally. Wally disagrees with me. I mean, it's still a healthy debate. I mean, it could go either way. I mean, this is one person's opinion versus the other. But when it comes to this, fans, let us know in the comments what you think. If you agree with Wally saying that it is Jason mother-fathering Witten, which he did have a pretty solid career in a more pussified era of football. Or was it John Stallworth? Let us know in the comments here as we're going to head on forward before we get to round 5, the final round. Let's go ahead and take a look at a little bit of a promo for a show that we have coming up tomorrow.
LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
What? I'm better than you. And you know it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Kayfabe Express, which you can check out episode 4 tomorrow with Ellis Pollard, a.k.a. Salvation, tomorrow, 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. Again, we are here for episode 82 as we get ready to go into the final round. Let's see what we've got in store for that. See if we've got a little bit of wrestling on hand.
Final round.
And here with the final round. There's the graphic. All right, cool. Cody Rhodes must defeat Roman Reigns at Wrestlemania to validate his story. How do you feel about this one, Wally? Do you agree with the statement on hand? Are you in or are you out on this one?
He has to. I want him to, but he won't. I'm out.
He's out.
Everybody's big on numbers. Everybody's big on, looking at runs and championships, as we've discovered on this episode. Won't point no fingers. But I think just knowing that, I believe it was like a week ago, right before Elimination Chamber, I think Roman eclipsed 900 days. So why would you run that up to 950 or so by the time Mania comes, 950 or 960 somewhere? Might as well just take it all the way to 1,000, put Cody in the hunt, let Cody win Money in the Bank, and then have Cody cash in at SummerSlam, or have him win King of the Ring, something in general, you know what I'm saying, to where they don't have a choice but to give him another title shot to redeem himself. And there you have it. You got the 1,000-day reign that lasted over the course of almost 3 years, I believe. Then you can give Cody his moment. It doesn't necessarily have to be at WrestleMania, although that's what everybody wants. He pointed to the sign. That's already enough. He's main eventing WrestleMania. That's already enough. He's already eclipsed everything that's been done in his family by even earning a ticket to be in the main event. So he don't necessarily have to win it, and it endears him more to the fans, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't think he does it. I think they go with the numbers and they let Roman retain.
I mean, yeah, it just seems like it's going to be going that way. It's going to be interesting to see how they take this one, but for the sake of debate, I'm going to go in. To actually solidify this story, for where Cody started at, leaving the company, helping out AEW, propelling that to what it is. And it's kind of like taking a little bit of a dive since he's left, and certain things that don't really concern him, but it really has. Things are not the same as what it was. The pillars aren't the same. The hierarchy isn't the same, especially after the brawl out incident with CM Punk and everything that happened last year. But when you think about what Cody's done, and especially with him going through that match with the torn pec, he has built his character up enough to where it's either you beat Roman now, or when is the next available opportunity going to be? Are you going to push it back to next year's WrestleMania? Or are you going to push it back to next year's WrestleMania when the strap is taken off of him at some point this year at SummerSlam or something? I feel like with the fact that they want to honor Dusty, and Dusty didn't have a moment like this, a WrestleMania moment like this, they want to honor him in this aspect of giving him this WrestleMania moment. That's why I feel like now or never when it comes to giving Cody the title. I mean, maybe afterwards you split the titles up and Cody picks which one he wants and they vacate the other one and have a tournament for it, whatever you want to do for it. So he doesn't have to be the double champion, so we can have one per show. But I feel like Cody needs to win this match to validate the story because of where he was, where he came back from, then had to have the injury to set back, and then how strong of a push he's had since he came back at Royal Rumble. It's like the carpet is laid out perfectly for him to get this WrestleMania moment. And if he doesn't get it now, the momentum's not going to be there when he's 40 years old a couple of years from now.
No. But that's all the more reason for him to lose. I'm not saying he loses at Mania and then it takes him 3 more years to get back here. It's the thrill of the hunt. It's the guy chasing the girl he's always wanted. It's the I have to be better than my father story. It doesn't matter when you get there, as long as you get there. It's not necessarily set in stone for it to happen. I don't get me wrong. I want him to win it. I think he will, but it doesn't necessarily hurt if they make it, stall out a little bit. Because that just gets more of a backing behind him. Like, man, he was so close. He was so hot coming back to the company last year. He got hurt. He came back, won the Rumble. Dang, he's right there. And then, like, bam. They're going to honor Dusty regardless of when it happens. It's just not going to happen on a Monday Night Raw. So if it doesn't happen at Mania, do it at SummerSlam. That's what I'm saying. Or if he does win it, which I think he will, he'll win it. They'll let him, I think, because he wants the American Eagle title, I think he will bring that back. He'll resurrect that one, or they'll give him his own style with some sort of American Eagle on it, since he's the American Nightmare. And then, like you said, they'll do that additional title, or they'll bring that new title to put on the other show. You know what I'm saying? So it makes a lot of sense. Like, there's no right or wrong answer, but I want him to win it. I just don't think he will, because I feel like they want more heat towards Roman, and they also can stack those numbers up to give more credibility to his reign. No pun intended.
All right, Stone Cold, get ready.
What?
I said get ready.
What?
It's time we wrap this thing up, Stone Cold.
What?
He wants to come up here on this show and talk about the odds of him losing.
What?
I said the odds of him losing.
What?
All this time, you're going to propel this man up. All the stories you've done to propel the one and only, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
What?
I said the one and only, the Nightmare, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
What?
Sammy's getting pissed, Stone Cold.
Say what again? Say what again?
It's the same thing that happened to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
Absolutely. But when you think about this being professional wrestling, and you think about the fact that Cody Rhodes has been long awaiting some type of epic story like this, you have to give it to him, Wally. You have to give it to him.
Yeah, he deserves it. He's going to win it. I'm just telling you what should happen.
He's going to win it now.
He's okay.
Right now.
Not now, but right now.
I mean, at WrestleMania, not right this second, but he will.
April 2nd, Sunday night. He's going to close the show as the champion.
What?
I'll give it to him.
What?
Hit it again. I'll give it to him.
What?
I'm telling you. But just remember, when it happens, the way that I'm projecting it to happen, I'm not coming back on the show unless we change the name to Legacy Wally Sports Network.
Holy shnikes.
Stay off the weed.
And they, if that happens, we're going to have to hire Dennis Green to say this.
That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Guys, we've had a great 5 rounds on this show. We got to acknowledge a few more things before we get on out the door, though. We got some more comments from the fans. But before we do that, we got to acknowledge the Vault of Fame one more time from my man Wally.
Acknowledge me.
Wally is now a 4-time Vault of Fame inductee here for episode 82 of the In or Out Sports Debate. And he has now moved up on the leaderboard here into 3rd place as we have Joey Raymond in 1st with 14, Rob Johnson in 2nd with 13, Darrell Owens, James Brown, Corey Mann, and now P. Alexander Wally tied for 3rd place with 4 appearances. We have Brian H. Waters, Cody Stewart, Dwayne Allen, Kyle Nash, Michael Bish, Brian Snow, and Lamont Thomas with 3 appearances that are tied for 4th place, and 7 panelists tied for 2 appearances apiece. Up next on the In or Out Sports Debate, you can find episode 83 this Wednesday, March the 1st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, announced earlier in the breaking news section. As well as tomorrow, you can find Kayfabe Express episode 4 with the wrestler Salvation, a.k.a. Ellis Pollard, tomorrow at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. As well as you can check out the Sports Sensays Unleashed on Sundays at 5:05 p.m. Eastern Time, starting this upcoming Sunday. The Legacy Maker Sports Network is where you can find these shows at on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and the TikTok channel as well. And you can check all the latest on LegacyMakerSports.com. The In or Out Sports Debate is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, as well as the audio platforms on Apple and Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Anchor.fm, and you can download these episodes individually on iTunes. SIRTOBA Media is the place where the struggle is real to be awesome. Where you can find the video productions that give you this right here on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the YouTube channel coming soon. and the latest at SIRTOBA.com. And if you want to follow me individually, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And the latest for myself is SIRTOBA and LegacyMakerSports.com. If you want to throw a little donation to the Stoic picture on this $10 bill, Darrell Owens calls this Willie Bucks, but you can throw a little Cash App, cash.app $DWilly87. They're at Cash App, DWilly87. Thank you as always, if you can. And we are back for episode 82 of the In or Out Sports Debate. Wally is here as we send this off into the final part of this show. Before we do that, we have to acknowledge the comments from the fans and see what you guys have left to say before we get on out of here for the Mayhem culmination. Here for the Mayhem culmination, Wally, we've got some more wild stuff going on in the chat. Anthony Davis is okay, he says. Then he says, facts with a laughing emoji. Not sure what that was about. Witten was trash. Wallace, says Stephen Fenton.
Damn!
I'll at least acknowledge it with that, because Witten in the trash can and Wallace, like, come on, bro. Throw some spec on here, Steven. His name is Wally Stevo. Well, not maybe he meant to call him Stevo, not you, Wally Stevo, but that's probably what he meant to call Steven. That's not an unusual name. I guess he would talk about Stevo on that. And for that, we got to throw some Carlton up in here.
It's not unusual to be loved. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. But when I see you hanging about with anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry. I wanna die. It's not unusual to go out at any time.
You gotta put them two. You gotta put them two in the chat room by themselves and let them go back and forth the whole time.
Yeah, because they're out of control with that. How much practice did it take to come up with that, Steve-O? Well, to come up with that comeback, it probably took about as much practice as this was acknowledged with AI.
But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We're talking about practice, man. When you come in the arena and you see me play, don't you?
Absolutely.
You see me give everything I got, right?
Absolutely.
But we talking about practice right now.
Absolutely.
All
that practice.
There will be no AI jokes while I'm sitting on this panel. We will not. We will do no such blasphemies while Wally sits in this chair on this screen. We won't have any of that tonight. We're not doing that tonight. No AI.
In response to how much practice did it take to come up with that comeback, Steve-O, Steven says, not enough, Ike, not enough. Well, thanks for being honest there, Steven. We appreciate your honesty, as the Wonder Bread Choir still laughing. And Ike responds back with, that's terrible, dude. That is terrible. Well, was it as terrible as when Charles Barkley reacted to it?
That's terrible.
Terrible. There's no I or E. It's TURRBLE. That's how Charles Barkley says it.
Oh, absolutely. That's how I have it typed up on here.
Yeah.
That's how I have it spelled on here.
Yeah.
But Ike definitely was not under the impression for that one. He did not have it. Come on, bruh. He says again, he's definitely, I guess he's saying that ain't nobody got time for it.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Because they don't. Thank you, Sandra Brown, for that take on there. And with our last known comment, Shat he do in the playoffs. I'm guessing he's saying what he do in the playoffs. Well, not enough, not as much as this guy didn't do.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Come mess with me and my soundboard, Steven, because this upcoming Wednesday, I will be this.
I'll be back.
Thank you all for the comments so far to go throughout this show. We have had one hell of a show as Wally has made his way back here. Can't thank him enough for doing so. And before we get on out of here, we have one last thing, and that is to acknowledge the final word. See what we got in store for that one for you guys. And Wally, here, you know the deal with the final word out of everything we discussed in this show, or just anything in sports or in entertainment in general. Go ahead and get it off your mind with the final word, my man.
Competition and ability has nothing to do with championships. That's all I have. You cannot continue to compare players in sports or anything of that nature and say somebody is better than somebody else because they won championships. Those things matter. It matters in the sense of like how much of a leader someone can be, yes, but you don't always get a championship because of your own ability.
You can,
but that doesn't mean that's how it always goes.
I mean,
but you can't try to say something about one guy playing on a super team when he went to Miami, knowing damn well he's lost in the finals to other super teams. Like, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, you can't. It's a different era.
No, it's not.
It is.
Look at LeBron went to the finals. He's 4-6 in the finals. Look at the teams that beat him. They're super teams. You think who
the Mavericks were a super team? No, Mavericks were not a super team.
There were
super team.
There were 3 Hall of Famers on that team, or 4.
San Antonio Spurs were not a super team.
What?
Yeah, they only
no.
Everybody else was old.
Hold on. The San Antonio Spurs.
In 2014, they were all old. All they had was freaking Kawhi Leonard, who was like a rookie at that point, or second year in. And Tim Duncan was old. Everybody else was aging on out. They barely had an impact.
Okay, but so we can compliment Jordan for beating an old bad boys team, but we don't compliment LeBron beating the old Spurs team? How does that work?
LeBron was like in his it was still in his 20s. It was still like 28 or 29 when he did that. He was still in his prime.
We compliment Jordan. I'm going to take it back further. We compliment Jordan beating the Showtime Lakers that were old in the 91 finals. We compliment Jordan for beating the old Showtime Lakers that ran the 80s. But
well, I mean, if Magic Johnson was still like 32 years old at that point.
We don't compliment Bron for beating the old Spurs that dominated for a decade.
Because, again, LeBron's era was more of a pussified era of basketball.
But take the
teams playing physical in 91.
Take the teams that LeBron beat for those 4 championships, and they will beat any of those teams that the Bulls beat in the finals. I'll put my money on it.
Showtime Lakers.
At that age, yeah. I'm not talking prime Showtime Lakers. I said the exact teams that the Bulls beat. Put those against any of the teams that LeBron beat.
I don't even know if you gave LeBron's teams to start each playoff run like the Bulls did, because of when they faced off against like the Rockets and they faced off against like the freaking Knicks and some of these teams leading up to the finals. I don't think that I think LeBron still would have got bounced before we even made it to the semis in some of those, because some of these teams he would have played against. So yes.
You take all the flopping and take all that stuff out in the dramatics or whatever. Bron can play in that era.
Not as impactful, because the dramatics have helped him get another 10, 12 points a game and some other statistics too.
Man, before the dramatics came, nobody was able to guard Bron. and he was playing all 5 positions on offense and defense.
But the Dramatics have been going for the past 12, 13 years.
It's gotten worse, yes. But if you look at from an ability standpoint, who was able to do what Bron has done offensively at any position, and also at one point prime LeBron, of course, being able to guard all 5 positions.
If he plays 4 more years, so he's like 42, 43, like when Kareem retired, because Kareem played all 4 years in college. If he can play till he's 42 years old, like if he were to actually have played a 4-year career in college, the amount of time and tenure that would be, to be 24 years in the league, I'll give it to him at that point, because then he'll have earned it, in my opinion. But he's not going to play 4 more years in the league, especially at the pace he's going right now. If he keeps falling apart, he might make it if Bronny comes next year and they go on a little bit of a run, maybe.
Is LeBron in your top 10?
Yes. My top.
Is he over or under Larry Bird? Is he higher?
He's over. He's over Larry Bird.
Okay,
Larry Bird's like 10.
So Larry Bird is 10. He gets in at 10.
He squeaks in. Larry Bird squeaks in, but he's on the way of getting booted out.
I could probably give you 15 right now that I would put over Larry Bird.
I know.
Now.
I know. We this is one hell of a final word. Final words.
This is madness. Put a Macho Man clip.
This is shenanigans.
Yeah.
It's shenanigans. Let me have my final word, damn it. My final word. Now we've gone through another LeBron debate, part 3 or part 4 on this show, which was great. I mean, I like what Wally brought up here. It kind of inspires me to have another LeBron topic the next time he comes on here, so we can continue where we left off, because we're starting to get somewhere, but we only have so much time on the show, as we've been going for quite some time at this point. And guys, thank you for sticking with us throughout this show. The majority of the viewers that are still here, thank you all for the comments, for everything you've had throughout this show. I'm not going to keep you too long. Just want to basically, say thank you for tuning in. Now 82 episodes, guys. 82 episodes. It is mother-fathering unbelievable. We've got Wednesday coming up. Rob Johnson comes back for 83. And then we've got one on Sunday as well. But I won't announce that until this Wednesday for who's coming back for that one. So very, very great week for this show. Got another wrestling show. If you haven't seen, Lance Anoa'i, cousin of Roman Reigns, is on last week for episode 3 of Kayfabe Express. So it's been a great past 2 weeks. Thank you all who've been tuning in, supporters of this show. Look forward to getting some more things going and cooking throughout this year. One step at a time. It's been one great year so far since reviving this show back in last April. And to think, 30 episodes since you were here, 5 months to the day. We are now completing episode 82. Guys, thank you all for tuning in, as we've only got one more thing left to do. And that is look at one badass outro from my man, P. Alexander Wally, to my, I had it right the first time, side right over here. I am Drew Willingham. Everybody stay safe out there in these streets.